Have you ever had one of those nights? The kind where the world outside is completely still, buried under a thick blanket of snow, and the only sound is the crackle and pop of a fire. It feels safe, right? Cozy. That's what I thought too. I was house-sitting for my aunt and uncle in this old farmhouse, miles from the nearest town. They'd gone on some fancy cruise, leaving me with their ancient, three-legged cat, a well-stocked pantry, and a stern warning. Don't go into the attic, Alex. The insulation is exposed, it's a mess. Sounded reasonable. I had no interest in dusty old attics. The first few days were bliss. Just me, the cat, and a mountain of books. But then the blizzard hit. The power went out on the second night of the storm. No TV, no internet, just the fireplace, a few candles, and the howling wind. It was atmospheric, eerie even. But I wasn't scared. I was a city kid, used to sirens and shouting. Silence was a luxury. That's when I first heard it. A soft, rhythmic sound from upstairs. Thump, thump, thump. It was faint, almost lost in the wind's roar. I figured it was just the old house settling, or a branch hitting the roof. I told myself that anyway. I threw another log on the fire, pulled the blanket tighter, and tried to ignore it. But the sound was persistent. Thump, thump, thump. It was slow, steady, like a heartbeat. A very, very slow heartbeat. Curiosity, that stupid fatal flaw of all humanity, got the better of me. I grabbed a heavy iron poker from the fireplace and a candle, its flame dancing nervously. The cat, sprawled by the fire, suddenly sat bolt upright, its one good ear twitching. It stared at the ceiling, letting out a low, guttural hiss. Okay, now I was scared. I crept up the creaking staircase. The air grew colder with every step. The thumping was louder up here, clearer. It was coming from the end of the hallway, from the small square door set into the ceiling. The attic. My uncle's warning echoed in my head. Don't go into the attic. But the sound, it was magnetic. It wasn't just a thump anymore. It felt deliberate, like a signal. I stood beneath the hatch, the poker held out like a sword. I could feel the vibrations through the floorboards. Thump, thump, thump. With a shaking hand, I used the end of the poker to push the hatch open. A shower of dust and dried leaves rained down, extinguishing my candle. I was plunged into absolute darkness, save for the weak moonlight filtering through a grimy window at the far end of the attic. And the thumping stopped. Silence. A heavy, expectant silence that was 1,000 times worse than the noise. My own heart was a frantic drum against my ribs. I stood frozen for what felt like an eternity, listening. Nothing, just the wind. Hello? I whispered, my voice a pathetic squeak. I don't know why I did it. It's what you're never supposed to do. And that's when a new sound started. Not a thump, a scrape. A long, slow, dragging sound. It was coming from the darkest corner of the attic, the one the moonlight couldn't reach. It sounded wet, and it was getting closer. I didn't wait to see what it was. I slammed the attic hatch shut, fumbled for the lock I hadn't even noticed before, and twisted it. I scrambled down the stairs, tripping in the dark, the poker clattering away. I scooped up the hissing cat and barricaded us both in the downstairs bathroom. I've been in here for hours. The sun should be up soon. But the scraping, it hasn't stopped. It's not in the attic anymore. For the last hour, it's been coming from the other side of this door. A slow, wet, scraping sound, moving back and forth, back and forth. And every few minutes, there's a new noise. A soft, wet tapping, right at head height. It knows I'm in here, and I think it's trying to spell something.